guys, welcome back to Counseling Minus Double Weekend. So I know it's been such a long time since I did a video and I'm really getting behind. So I wanted to make a video today. And this video is going to be about factitious disorder. If I'm butchering the name, charge my head and not my heart. Grammar is not my biggest suit. Anyway, if you're new, welcome. So what we usually do is we do our check-ins, and the check-ins is basically, what is your mood for today? So my mood for today, I'm actually feeling pretty good today. It's been really fast-paced for me. I've been going like on these trips. I went to Miami, I went to Dallas. I've been practicing my self-care for family members and birthdays and stuff. And I have a lot of stuff going on still with family members and friends and things, but it's just good to do self-care. So guys, I'm telling you, do that as well. So we usually start with dance moves, as long as it's positive and appropriate, we can do that. And there's other ways you can express yourself, like lyrics, just typing in how you feel, emojis, and you can do that in the comments. But for me, it's going to be a dance move, and I'm trying to think of one that I haven't done that I like. I think it's this. Or let me see. It's the stop, drop, and roll. I'll do that. Okay, so that's my dance move. Like I said, my mood is pretty good. So right into this video. Let's jump into factitious disorder. So I'm going to use my handy dandy DSM-5. And so it breaks it down to two different categories. So it can be imposed on yourself or it can be imposed on another. And so for yourself, it says criteria, including A, falsification of physical or psychological signs of any symptoms, or induction of injury or disease associated with identified deception. B, individual presents himself or herself to others as ill, impaired, or injured. C, the deceptive behavior is evident even in the absence of obvious external rewards. And D, the behavior is not explained by a mental disorder such as delusional disorder or another psychotic disorder. So it can be a single episode or it can be recurrent. So meaning it happened once or it happened multiple times, right? So say two or more events of falsification of illness and or induction of injury. That's meant by recurrent. So then it also talks about if this disorder is imposed on another person, which is like a lot to do with some of the Lifetime movies that we see about parents saying that their children are sick, right? I can't think of the exact movie, but I know there's two for a fact that's like that. And I believe one of them is a true story. So A is a falsification of physical or psychological signs or symptoms or induction of injury, and another associated identified deception. B, the individual presents another individual, victim in parentheses, to others as ill, impaired, or injured. C, deceptive behavior is evident even in the absence of obvious external rewards. And D, behavior is not better explained by another mental disorder such as delusional disorder or another psychotic disorder. It has a little note here that says the perpetrator, not the victim, receives the diagnosis. So it can be single and it could be recurrent as well. So basically what it's saying, long story short, is just saying that you're not being truthful about pretty much what's going on medically. So you're saying that you have an injury, you're saying that you have a disease, something physical going on with you. That's not necessarily true. And then B talks about telling other people that you're ill, that you're injured, that you're impaired, right? And C talks about this behavior being deceptive and it has no means of reward. So some people may do it for attention, and sometimes it's done even without seeking that attention type of thing. And then number D, I said number D, letter D, it's about so you have to rule out everything. So I have to rule out, in this case, some medical things. So you have to get some work done, right, to get these tests done, and everything has to come back normal, right? Pretty much. well, I don't say everything can come back normal, but pretty much what's going on that you're saying what's going on, the test may come back normal, right? Since you're being false about what's going on medically with you, right? Physically, the injury, right? And then you have to rule out disorders like delusional or any psychotic disorder, right? So you have to rule out any, maybe like a diagnosis for schizophrenia, schizoaffective, stuff like that, and delusional disorder that may cause delusions or hallucinations. So that's how it breaks it down. Da-da-da. So I went ahead and went online as well to look at some treatments. And of course, they talked about one of our favorite, which is CBT over here, cognitive behavior therapy. It really talks about psychotherapy. So psychotherapy being one, which is changing your thinking. Well, psychotherapy is a form of counseling, and it's pointing out CBT as changing your thoughts and your behaviors, right? So pretty much the treatment, when it's looking like when it's imposed by yourself, the the goal is to look at the person's behavior and reduce misuse of medical resources. Oh, change the person's behavior and reduce misuse of medical resources. And then if it's imposed on others, it's to ensure safety and protection of any real or potential victims. So altogether, it aims to resolve underlying psychological issues causing this behavior, right? So it also kind of explained, what website did I get this out of? I believe Cleveland Clinics. It says, so with the disorder, there is a risk for health conditions, right? Being exposed to all these different testing and things, with self-harm, because sometimes people tend to cause self-harm because they're faking this injury or they're faking this medical condition, or they're forcing others, so abuse, they're forcing others to have, well, falsify, as in the DSM says, this disorder, falsify this injury, this illness, etc., right? So it's pointing out that risk here. So I want to put that in there as well. And then another form of treatment would be family therapy. And then there's no meds for this disorder. So we talked about CBT, we talked about psychotherapy, we talked about family therapy, right? Because it's going to, especially if it's imposed on another person, it's going to affect the family. And then if you're telling other people about this illness, or if you're telling other people about this injury, of course it's going to affect them too. So family therapy might be beneficial as well. So it's no meds, it's just the focus on changing behaviors, taking care, well, preventing the rest as well. What else we kind of talked about? Oh yeah, reducing misuse of medical resources, right? Especially with COVID, it's a lot of things going on, guys, especially in the hospitals being busy and not having enough equipment and things. So guys, yes, definitely this is one of the disorders that I wanted to talk about and just learn about. So I went ahead and did a video, right, for awareness, not for just my own understanding, but for everyone, right? So feel free to tell me about your experiences. If you want to talk about some Lifetime movies or some movies that you saw, go ahead and put that in the comments, as long as it's positive and appropriate. If you knew someone with the disorder, as long as it's positive and appropriate. Guys, we don't do anything negative in the comments, right? Nothing negative, right? And I'm gonna wrap it up here, guys. I hope you had a beautiful Father's Day. I hope you had a beautiful couple of weeks, right? And hopefully it was a little bit slower than mine, but I plan to be back, and I want to make sure to take this time out to make this video. So I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys.